Burgemeester, wat is er nou zo bijzonder aan Zeelkampen?
Als je de mooiste... Dat gaat niet goed.
And now for something completely different.
Okay. Are you done complaining about everything? Can we get on with the show?
I said my juice gives me heartburn.
Yes, and you said I give you life burn.
What the fuck? You're gonna get ass burn soon there. Ass burners.
Bright burn. Okay, we're gonna do some Norm Macdonald.
Norm.
When he was at Weekend Update.
Norm. I like the weekend updates. Those are good.
So, kind of a news thing if you don't know what it's all about. It's what Colin Jost does today and Che.
Yeah.
Michael Che. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Normie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Poor Normie, he passed away.
Yes.
A while back. Oh well. Oh. Okay, let's watch his comedy.
On a chocolate M&M.
Where the fuck did you get that from?
He was under my everything.
Sure. Thank you.
My ass.
Oh. Your fucking bunny turds.
All right, now you're gonna be able to react.
Tastes good.
Okay, here we go.
And now a correction to a story we ran last week. Prince Charles is actually the one in the middle. And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty.
O.J. then.
Yeah.
In an interview this week, Bob Dole said he is strong enough to handle the pain of losing the presidential election. Although he did admit that the shock of winning would give him a giant heart attack. A study on weight loss revealed this week that women who participate in a weekly diet program lost 50% more weight, snacked less, and bought more fruits and vegetables than women in general. Which just goes to prove my new theory. Richard Simmons is gay. According to an obscure 14th century law, British Army Captain James Hewitt could be hanged for having an affair with Princess Diana. The punishment for having sex with Princess Diana is death. The punishment for having sex with Princess Anne is having sex with Princess Anne. Demi Moore is wrapped filming on G.I. Jane, in which she plays a Navy SEAL combat officer. Moore says that in contrast to other Hollywood portrayals of women in the military, her character will have giant breasts. And finally, John Wayne Bobbitt is going to be an adult film star. He has been signed to play himself in the John Wayne Bobbitt story. The part of his severed penis will be portrayed by Pauly Shore. F. Lee Bailey said this week that if the defense only knew what Ron Goldman's last words were, they might be able to find the real killer. You know, if you ask me, Goldman's last words were probably, hey, you're O.J. Simpson. Last week on Larry King Live, Marlon Brando made the shocking statement that Hollywood is, quote, run by Jews. In response, outraged Jewish organizations made it snow in New York in April. 130 years after the Civil War, the state of Mississippi has finally voted to abolish slavery. Representatives say they would have liked to have done it sooner, but they were delayed due to some awfully big cotton crops. They had some kind of big cotton thing. All right. 4 Pittsburgh children were found in a house strewn with garbage and human waste after they'd been abandoned by their parents for 2 weeks. The couple was charged with child endangerment, but to their credit, they did bring the children a present. A T-shirt that reads, "My parents left me for 2 weeks in a house full of human waste, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt." Former First Lady Nancy Reagan reports that her husband has been relaxing at their ranch, riding horses and chopping wood. Sadly, eyewitnesses report that he was actually riding wood and chopping horses. Finally, folks, next week, Jews everywhere will be celebrating the holiday of Yom Kippur, or as non-Jews refer to it, Wednesday. This week, President Clinton played golf with ex-presidents Gerald Ford and George Bush. Bush hit an old lady in the face with a golf ball, giving her a broken nose and 10 stitches. But don't be impressed, it took him 5 strokes to do it. And finally, in honor of the 50th anniversary of their first publication, Random House will be releasing special commemorative issues of many Dr. Seuss classics. The first to hit the bookshelves will be Green Eggs and Ham and O.J. is Guilty. This week, a court banned gays from marching in Boston's St. Patrick's Day parade, but they will still allow them to be beaten up by drunken Irish guys. Last night, the epic disaster film Twister opened to big box office and some controversy. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has called for a boycott of the movie, claiming that not enough black people in the film are killed by tornadoes. Finally, in entertainment news, there are rumors that actor Don Johnson is dating 71-year-old San Francisco socialite Denise Hale. An observer who spotted the couple necking in a restaurant will have trouble getting an erection for the rest of his life. Washington Power to some Mary Madeline and James Carville are expecting their first baby in July. No one knows if the baby will be a Democrat or a Republican, but doctors are sure of one thing. It will be weird looking. And it's been reported that Keanu Reeves is engaged to actress Amanda Decadina. Asked to comment, Keanu said, "What? I thought I was gay. I'd always heard I was gay." Drivers, men or women? Well, according to a new survey, 55% of adults feel that women are most responsible for minor fender benders, while 78% blame men for most fatal crashes. Please note that the percentages in these pie graphs do not add up to 100% because the math was done by a woman. For those of you hissing at that joke, it should be noted that that joke was written by a woman. So now you don't know what the hell to do, do you? No, I'm just kidding. We don't hire women. This week, Disney released a new CD featuring a rapping Mickey Mouse. To avoid controversy, the CD will not include the controversial hit single, Cat Killer. Beginning in March, DC Comics will change Superman's traditional red and blue costume to a new form-fitting bodysuit. The problem with the old costume? Not gay enough. What the hell's going on in the country? That's not Superman. According to the EPA, it will cost an estimated $295 million to clean up toxic waste at the former Lockheed Martin military aircraft plant in California. The cause of the toxic waste? You guessed it, Frank Stallone. A blind man felt Princess Diana's face last week and said she is the prettiest woman I've ever seen. He then picked up a toilet plunger and said, "Thank you for this royal scepter. I shall treasure it always." This week, President Clinton made history when he nominated Madeleine Albright to be first female Secretary of State. Responding to critics who say that she is not the best choice, the president insisted, quote, "She looks a lot better after a couple of drinks." Visitors to New York's Times Square this winter are in for a bit of a surprise. Crazy people will be shooting at them. O.J. Simpson's new fitness video was released this week, and hitting the shelves next week, Simpson's newest video, Dorf on Stalking. Does President Clinton have a bent penis? Well, according to a doctor who examined him last week, the president's genitals are, quote, completely 100% normal. It should be noted, however, that the doctor who examined him also has a bent penis. Oprah Winfrey broke down and cried this week, saying she had once smoked crack cocaine. You know, I don't know what she's crying about. I mean, you know, some people in this world never get to smoke crack cocaine. It's ridiculous. Huh? Earlier tonight, the New York Yankees defeated the Atlanta Braves and won the World Series. As a result, Atlanta Mayor Bill Campbell will send a bushel of delicious Georgia peaches to New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. Had the Braves won, Mayor Giuliani would have sent Mayor Campbell a bushel of delicious New York crack. Earlier this week, the Food and Drug Administration gave approval to Nicorette chewing gum, an over-the-counter aid for those trying to quit smoking. Next, the agency will rule on another addiction-fighting product. The title of that one is, I Can't Believe It's Not Crack. According to new medical research, crack babies are as happy and healthy as normal children. You know, that's amazing, you know, because I thought they'd be much happier with all that crack in their system, you know. It's crazy. And in the state of Washington, deaths from heroin hit record levels during 1995. Sorry, crack, it just wasn't your year. And finally, the Diamond Council of America advises that men spend 2 months' salary on an engagement ring, while the American Housing Company suggests that you spend 25% of your salary on rent. Interestingly, the U.S. Crack Association recommends that you spend all your salary on crack. At a press conference this week, Washington Mayor Marion Barry said he wants private businesses to provide 5,000 summer jobs for a district youth program. He also wants some crack. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry is currently enjoying a 10-day trip to Africa. He says he loves everything about the continent, but he really misses crack.
Must be a scandal at the time of crack. Probably.
Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry attended the march and called it a beautiful display of unity and solidarity among African Americans. His only complaint, the complete absence of crack. In Washington, Mayor Marion Barry praised the verdict as, quote, wise and just. And he called upon people of all races to please get him some crack. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry has prostate cancer, but the disease was detected early, and he expects a full recovery. Doctors say in no time, Barry will be up and around and smoking crack again. In the current climate of gun violence, the NBA's Washington Bullets have decided to change the name of their franchise. When several D.C. politicians were asked for their suggestions, President Bill Clinton said the Presidents would be a good name. Senator Bob Dole said the Senators. And Mayor Marion Barry said, I'll be with you in a minute, right after I smoke some crack. Well, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry says he has devised a money-saving plan that would close the district's Lorton prison and transfer its 7,000 inmates to private lockups. One hitch is that the financially strapped district doesn't have the startup money to implement the plan. Another hitch is that the guy who devised the plan smokes crack. So, 2 hitches. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry is in hot water again, this time for bringing 54 government employees with him on a trip to a posh West Virginia resort. According to Barry, quote, "That's how many guys it takes to keep me from smoking crack." In Washington, D.C., several local activists are trying to gather enough signatures by December to put a medical marijuana initiative on the ballot. Meanwhile, one local activist is trying to do the same thing for medical crack. A new survey by the Washington Post reports that D.C. Mayor Marion Barry's popularity among city residents has dropped to its lowest point in 5 years. However, Mayor Barry insists he has no interest in polls, or for that matter, anything else that isn't crack. Yes. Really has no interest in it. How good are polls going to do it? Last Friday in Washington, D.C., the city's elementary school students pledged to stay drug-free as a gift to their moms on Mother's Day. Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry got his mom a great big box of chocolates. The Walt Disney Company has announced plans to build a $300 million hotel and entertainment complex in New York's Times Square. Construction begins next spring on their first attraction, Crack Horrors of the Caribbean. Well, the magazine POV came out this week with a list of the best and worst jobs to have in the next century. Their 3 best were, in this order, multimedia software designer, management consultant, and interactive advertising executive. While their worst, for the 3rd year in a row, crack whore. Finally.
Okay, I guess stop it there.
Okay.
All right,
Holy
enough of the
fucking-
crack.
Jeez, it's all about crack.
Actually, that's kind of what Norm was initially known for. Like,
Yeah.
that was one of his big jokes. Was like, who needs a punchline when you have the word crack whore? Because it's just the way it rolls off the tongue. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anytime you want to make a joke, just go crack whore.
That's funny. Crack whore. We have a few of those here.
No.
They offer Brad like beer and chicken. What you need, darling, is a bucket of chicken and a case of beer.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up to my apartment? I'll make you some.
That's how you pay prostitutes in North Bay. Bucket of KFC chicken and a case of beer. There's no money exchanged.
Oh God! Oh, really? Is that what it is now?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's fucking expensive. Jeez.
It is.
That would be like fucking...
Chicken is really expensive these days, you know.
Yeah, so is beer.
Inflation. Inflation, I tell you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, that was funny. Okay, so that's
funny.
part 1. We're going to do multiple parts here.
Yeah.
I find I get laughed out with Norm. If you do try to do it all at once, it's...
Yeah, we'll take little breaks and stuff like
I
that.
need a break to go smoke some crack. I'll be right back.
Say that. You know, people are going to believe you.
No, nothing but green. That's all I
That's
say.
right.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm already on green. So, okay. Hope you enjoyed it.
Surprised that this incident, this video of you smoking crack,
Allegedly smoking.
went viral.
No, allegedly smoking crack. Allegedly.
Right.
في أكبر